What's up guys, StardustYGO here. Today we'll be doing a deck profile on Fortune Ladies. This has been requested. I know it's popular. It's a popular demand somewhat. People want to see this deck. And I think I'm like the only one that can do this. I'm the only one that really masters more than Fortune Ladies, so that's why I'm doing it. So before I kick off the actual deck profile, I want to show the basic combo in action. After that it will be easier to understand the rest of the deck list. So let's look at the actual replay, shall we? So in order to get off anything with this deck, you need certain things in your hand. You need the Fortune Lady, Pest or Light, any of the level 1s, and Calling. Now this sounds kind of specific, but they have their own search spells, so it makes it a bit easier. And you need a level 6 that can special summon itself, and you need a spell. Now this sounds drastic, but keep in mind that Water, Fortune Lady Water, will enable you to draw 2 cards. That makes it more consistent. Afterwards we'll go into Cold Dragon, which will draw another card. It's just a base setup that you need to hard draw initially. That's a bit hard. And that you sometimes break on. But yeah, then again, that's an issue with every Fortune Lady build. So we special summon it. Now we control Pest and Light. Now Pest will activate its effect, which targets itself, then banish spellcasters from your field, graveyard, and or hand. In this case the Light. To increase level by 1, so it will become a level 2. Triggering Light, which will then special summon the Fortune Lady from the deck. Which you'll see here. Which as a result, special summons Fortune Lady Water. This, when special summoned, while you control a Fortune Lady with a different name, draws 2 cards. So that's the first draw 2. Then we go to Coral Dragon, summon any level 6, doesn't matter which one. Use that with the Coral Dragon to go into Ultimate Soulkin. Since Coral Dragon is sent to the grave, draw another card. And then reset whatever spell trap you have in the hand to summon a Crystal Wing. That's the base combo of this deck. That's the basis. If you master this combo, you basically know the deck. It's a quite easy Synchro deck. There's not that high of a ceiling. Like it's not that hard to get into, but it's very powerful. So we run 3 copies of Light, 3 copies of the Pest, since these are the starters. These are the main starters. Together, of course, with 3 Calling and 3 Vision. Vision will search Calling. Calling will summon the other Fortune Lady, basically getting you the full combo. For level 6, I've decided to run 3 Chaos Sorcerer, 3 Apprentice Illusion Magician, 1 Fortune Fairy Chi. Now, Fortune Fairy Chi, I've been satisfied. When you draw her, she's really good, but if you open it, it's a dead card in your hand. But when you draw it, mid-combo, you just get another draw and you get your level 6. Now, there's this problem that your opponent will also get a draw, so if they run hand traps like Ash, Nibiru, Valor, and Permanence, stuff like that, they might just draw it from this. That's why I don't really like it that much. Especially in casual duels when people are less likely to play hand traps. That's a really good tech choice. This can special summon itself whenever. It's a dark, we do run Allure. And, additionally, it's a Soul Start, of course, so it's really good. And there's also Chaos Sorcerer. This is a bit harder to summon. You basically need the Fortune's Future to return the Light back to your graveyard. But if you open Light and the spellbook of Knowledge, you can also just send Light to the graveyard with Knowledge. Special summon another copy of Light. Because Light can special summon another copy of itself. Then you also have a Light in your grave. Getting Light in the grave is a bit harder with this build, but it's still really powerful. The reason why all the level 6 are spellcasters is because we run Secret Village, 1 Terraforming and 1 copy of itself, or more than that with Brick. The basic idea behind this is that we'll lock your opponent out of spells, and then we control a big spellcaster, one of these 2, to ensure they can't just run over a monster. Back Earth Soulkin up with idealistically this card. Now, this card, not many people know. When your opponent activates a monster effect, will control a Synchro monster that lists a Synchro monster's material. This sounds kind of vague, but basically if you control Crystal Wing or Hot Red Dragon Archer with Abyss, you can negate activation, and after that you set this card instead of sending it to the grave. Since you set a spell or trap, when that happens, Soulkin will trigger, giving you another copy of Crystal Wing. So let's say theoretically you have Soulkin, Scrap Iron Signal, and Secret Village live. That means you already, from your first turn, have a Crystal Wing. This will set itself, giving you another Crystal Wing, meaning you have 2 Crystal Wings. This just negated a monster effect. That's 3 monster effect negates, and your opponent cannot activate spells. Really difficult to get rid of that board. So that explains the high level ratios. There's 2 Fortune Lady Water. You technically only need 1 copy in your deck, but when you draw, if you draw it, you cannot play your deck. So it's pretty much Gem Knight Garnet. But you can also still summon it turn 2 or turn 3 if you go into a grind game. That's why I like the additional copies, but there are arguments to be made to cut it. Theoretically, you could just replace it with something like a Pot of Avarice. Pot of Avarice would probably work. 3 souls, hard and soft this deck, do not play this deck without it. If you must, you can replace them with, what's it called again? I believe there's like a 0/0, yeah wait, Jester's Confit, I believe its name. It's similar, but it doesn't give you the additional draw power, so it's a lot less good. But if you have to, you could take out 3 souls for 3 Jester Confits if you play real life, play on a budget. So Magician Souls can send a level 6 or higher spellcaster monster from the deck to the grave to special summon itself, which can be any of these. Depending on your hand, you sometimes need to banish the right one. There are arguments to be made to run 1 light target so you can send that, but that's one thing you can consider to make your Gear Sorcerer alive in certain hands. But you can also send spell and traps from your hand and or field to the grave to draw the same amount of cards as the card you sent. This, when activated, searches, but after that it's useless. If you open multiple copies of this or this, they're dead in the hand, same for this. Sometimes you just don't want to use the allure. This, we run a 3, if you open multiple copies they're useless. It's also a lot of cards it can send to the graveyard, plus it's an additional spellcaster, which also has some niche uses. So I really like it. Triple allure for consistency, it just enables us to get our powerful cards on a more consistent basis. 2 knowledge, 1 secret, so we need a normal summon so we can't run the blue boy, but knowledge is way too good with Fortune Lady Light. It's basically just Pot of Greed. I mean, this will just summon another copy of itself, so we don't lose any cards on the field. I go for it. Yeah, 3 calling, 3 vision, it's just consistency, there's no reason not to do this in any Fortune Lady deck. Keep in mind this locks you to Synchro summoning for the rest of the turn after you use it. Theoretically, this means in the grind game you can go into one of the XCs and then go into Synchros afterwards. But yeah, this is the reason we don't run Hulk or any other good link monsters. If you are to run any good link monsters, Selene would be very good, maybe an access code on top of that. But yeah, we're locked to Synchros, so it just doesn't come up. 2 Jack in the hand, usually with this you reveal 3 level 1 monsters from your deck. Your opponent gets to choose first, add 1 to their hand, and they can choose from the other 2. So get you any of your starters. And if you reveal the souls, they're probably just taking the souls. So yeah. Basically it's hard to break with this card in the deck, basically. It's just an additional consistency piece. It also can fetch attack for allure. So certain hands that also helps. 3 Fortune's Future, so basically we talked about this Fortune Lady monster, return to the grave and draw 2. So the thing here is that in order to get best effect of, you will also always banish something. So this is just a free extender. And it sets up the Gear Sorcerer, which can make some hard hands that aren't playable. Terraforming and Secret Village, just very good, means no spell cards for your opponent. I really like it. Could cut this out for like an upstart and another consistency piece, maybe as another copy of Jack in Hand if you don't want to play Secret Village. I just think it's really strong. If you can set it up, it's just a game winner in combination with the Scrap Iron Lock, basically. Of course, Spellbook Searcher. And 3 of this card, if you can use this in the deck, it's usually very broken, especially in combination with Soulkin. Because it's a counter trap, it's really hard to play around. People just forget this exists, most people just don't know this card exists in the first place, so people don't play around in the first place. Let's kick into the extra deck. 1 Soulkin is enough if they're in a situation where they can kill your Soulkin. You likely already lost the duel anyway, so I don't run multiple copies. We can summon this via Soulkin, however we can summon Beals, then use the Past to go into Abyss, since it's just level 1 tuner. Especially in the grind game this can come up. I like it, that's why I run 1 copy. We run the Beals, the other Dark Dragon. Now arguments could be made to go for Dark End Dragon instead of the Beals, since it does have a proactive effect on the field. And then you just go into this, but Beals is also a win condition against certain decks, so it's player preference if you want Beals or Dark End. Ravenous is another monster we can just go into with Past if we desperately leave the draw for some reason. This works. It also pops any card as a quick effect, so certain matchups it's nice to have. Of course, Triple Crystal Wing is really strong synchro. 1 Scrap Dragon, you know, it just access removal, and this will trigger Fortune Lady Light for certain effects. Certain situations it might come up, plus it can pop back row and floodgates that are otherwise almost impossible to play around. Michael, Yeah. It's another way to get removal on the field. This banishes, this destroy, that plays around certain cards as well. Arcanite Magician. There are cases where you can just go for this using Pest at any of the level 6s. In which case, just being able to pop 2 cards to the field can be really good. But otherwise, fortunately, every also exists. This floats every turn, which is also pretty nice. It's just that we usually can't really make it. 2 Coral Dragons. I like playing it safe. That's why I run 2. There are situations where I can go into a second one. But if you don't like it, you could replace it with something else. This does make it easier to go into one of the XCs as well, which are really powerful. Utopia Beyond makes the attack of all my opponent's monsters 0. And Vote Strike Bouncer just negates monster effects, which is also nice. So that's the profile. Fortune ladies. Some people wanted to see this. If you want to see more profiles like this, make sure to subscribe and yeah, tell me what deck you want to see next. StardustYGO signing out. Peace.